get right into it. I am a comic book novice, aka Contraband, aka Contralad, aka my grandma's favorite grandson. uh, just a little bit of backstory. I've always loved comics. Well, comic material, I should say. I've always loved the MCU movies, superhero movies in general. Like going back to like the original Spider-Man movies. Those are probably like the first ones that I saw, like live action wise. I always got down with the old school X-Men cartoon, 90s kid here. Those are like my introductions into the world of superheroes. And I've always loved reading. I got started reading back in the day with Harry Potter and stuff like that. And I've always loved reading, and so I just decided recently, why not combine the two? Because I could get my reading in, I could get some dope superhero content, or not just necessarily superheroes. Like you'll see some stuff in the haul is not strictly people with superpowers. But I had a collection before the stuff that you'll see in this video, but it was just like small like stuff, and there was no really there wasn't really any continuity to it. Like I would just pick up an issue here or there, read it, and just be like, okay, that was dope. Now we're done. But now I'm getting into more of the collecting aspect. Still haven't gotten my first omnibus yet because I haven't seen anything that because I'm really like, I hate ordering things online. Like I shouldn't say hate, but I hate the waiting. I'd much rather just go to the store, pick it up, take it home, get to reading. But and the things that I've seen so far as omnibus goes aren't really things that I'm really interested in. So I've decided to hold off, until I see something that is really dope, or I decide to order something and just teach myself a lesson in patience. But without further ado, let's get into the haul. This haul is going back to probably the middle of September. Sorry. So it's about a month and a half worth of material. And the thing about me is, like, when I decide to get into something, I really get into it. Like, I want as much material as I can get a hold of to just binge, read, play, watch, anything like that. So, gotta learn a little bit of moderation. Future hauls might not be this big, but we'll see where it goes from here. Alright, first, I'm going to show you guys the stuff that I've read that is in this massive pile. And you'll see shortly that the stuff that I've read versus the stuff that I haven't read that I've bought is, without a doubt, it's leaning towards stuff that I haven't read. This month, these past couple months, I've been more focused on single issues, just getting into like current, ongoing comics, and I've read a lot of those. The single issue or the ongoing series that I'm reading, I'll probably do in a separate video, so this video isn't like an hour long. But yeah, let's get right into it, man. First up, The Walking Dead Volume 1. This is one of the first things I bought because I love the TV show. I'm not sure really how it holds up compared to the comic, because obviously I didn't read the comic before I started watching the show. This one, I did notice a lot of differences between the comic and the show. Most notably, Daryl's not in the comics. I didn't know that. That's great. That blew my mind because I kept waiting for him to show up, and he never did. So I finally hit a Google search. I was like, when does this dude pop up? And it got back, he doesn't. Or at least the search that what I put in was, when does Daryl appear in the comics? And it said that he just like got introduced like really like late into it or something, or I'm not sure. I didn't want to read too much because I didn't want to spoil anything for myself, but the basic answer is he's not in this. So after coming to grips with that, I started really enjoying it, man. Like it was pretty good. It was a quick read. I got through it really quick, but that's because like I said, I really like the show. But that goes to show you, not everything in here is strictly superheroes. So that's the first thing. The second one I'm going to show you is Daredevil by Mark Waid. I got this because I like Daredevil. I even liked the Ben Affleck movie. The people I've talked to that like are really into Daredevil, I've been told that that is not the greatest depiction of the character. But hey, I really liked it because I had nothing to put it up against. But I really enjoyed this. I actually want to give a shout out to one of the people that kind of inspired me to make this channel and kind of like helped me get into comics is oh boy, Mad Dog Comics. Woof woof. Yeah, he swears by this series, man, by this run by Mark Waid, and Mark Waid in general. So when I saw it in the store, I just had to pick it up, just give it a chance, and I got through it really quick. Can't wait to get the next volume, and see where the story goes. Next up, we got The Black Knight, Curse of the Ebony Blade. I mainly got this because the Eternals movie is coming out in just a few days, and I saw that Kit Harington is playing this character in the movie, and I'm a big Kit Harington fan. I love Game of Thrones, so I decided like I want to know the backstory of his character in the movie. That's also the same reason why I picked up a few Eternals comics these past couple months, because I want to know what these characters are about before I go in to see the movie. That's one of the things about me. I'm a big stickler for continuity and sticking to the source material. And how can I judge it if I don't know the source material at all? So I still do not know, like, even I would say a fraction of the material when it comes to the Eternals. But now at least I can see like who each character is and like compared to the actors that are playing them. So like the bare minimum. But I really dug this, man. I really dug the Black Knight, Curse of the Ebony Blade story. Like this was really dope. Like it's sick how like the anger he has feeds the power that the blade has. That's a cool concept, I think. So yeah, I'm looking forward to. I'm not sure because like it's not like volume 1 or anything. I think this was just like the arc of that, like the Curse of the Ebony Blade. But once again, like I'm new, so like I'm ignorant to some of these things. So I'm looking forward to reading some more about Black Knight and the Eternals and all of that. We'll see where we go from there as far as the Black Knight goes. Alright, now that we got the 5 or 6 books that I actually have finished out of the way, let's get to the mountain of things that I've purchased that I have not read yet. To start off, we'll leave the Whammy Boys to the end, because it's quite the pile we got ready right here. First off, Flashpoint. I picked this up because I really dig the Flash show, and I watched the animated movie on HBO Max for Flashpoint, and I really dug that, man. But then I started reading this, and I was like, I feel like I'm missing something. So I did a little bit of research. Turns out Flashpoint is not just this little trade paperback right here. Flashpoint is like 5 or 6 different series that all mix together, which begs the question to me, why didn't they just do that in the DC movies? That sounds like it could have, like, from what I have started reading, because I got the DC app as well. I started reading through Flashpoint, like the issues that are in Flashpoint, and that seems like it could have rivaled the whole MCU Thanos saga, in my head at least, like if they made movies about that. But who knows? I'm not DC. But yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about these ones because obviously I haven't read them. But I'll just tell you what I know about them, and we'll go from there. So Flashpoint, number 1. Gotta get to it. I got like about halfway through it and stopped because I wanted to get the whole story. And that led me into the whole Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Project Superman, all that stuff. Like, so I'm like knee deep in that right now, but I gotta get back to it so I can finish this off. Next up, couple of Green Lantern trades, volume 1 and 2. I actually picked these up yesterday. Denver Comic Con, or Denver Fan Expo as it was actually called, was yesterday. Me and a bunch of my friends went down there, and it's my first time going. It was really fun, man. I picked up a lot of stuff, mostly like shirts and stuff like that, because they didn't really have too much. I guess Sunday's not the best day to go to a convention, because it's kind of like everything's been picked over. You guys probably already know this. I didn't. I was like, there'll be stuff there, but there was really not too much in the way of comic books left at that point. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading these. I hear Jeff Johns is like one of the best writers to get into. Mad Dog swears by him, so take a shot if you're coming from his channel, because you know you got to take a shot every time he says Jeff Johns. So yeah, Green Lantern. Next, another run that Mad Dog swears by is the Iron Man by Matt Fraction. I picked this up because I saw it in one of my comic book stores for dirt cheap. Like, I think I got this for like $8. So I had to pick it up. Plus, Mad Dog swears by it. Like I said, I go a lot by him and BJ's recommendations. So looking forward to getting into this, even though I know they're never going to release a second volume of this, because it's been some time since they released this one, I guess, and there's no volume 2 on the horizon so far. So in the pile it goes to be read. I'll put these next 3 in together. You're gonna start to see how ignorant I am when it comes to comic books, because I actually have no idea if these 2 are part of the same story. They're all Power Rangers books. Boom. I got this one, Rise of Dracon, however you want to say it, Dracoir Noir. Because it just looked really dope, and like the stuff that I saw that, and that really interested me. I was like, is that Tommy? Like, what's he doing? Why does he look all evil and shit? So it turns out, I'm pretty sure, like I said, I haven't read this, but I'm pretty sure like the whole story is like Tommy goes to the dark side, so to speak, and I'm super interested in that, man. I want to get into this, but there's just so many other things that I gotta get read. This is it's near the top, so it'll get read pretty soon. And then we got first 2 volumes of this iteration of Power Rangers, and I tried to figure it out, like which to read first, like between this and that, but I didn't really see anything. Like I just did a quick Google search, and I'm still not quite sure like which I'm supposed to read first. Like, that's the thing about me, I'm a big stickler for continuity. Like, I want to get the story from A to Z. I want to see what happens at the beginning and where it goes from there. Like, one of my that's one of the things you gotta get out of the mentality of a little bit when it comes to comics. Like, if you're trying to read everything from the beginning to where it is now, you're gonna never pick up any ongoing series right now, because you're gonna be stuck reading stuff from like 30 years ago until like forever, basically. But with series, like with characters in like Power Rangers, I want to get as close to the start as I can. So I'm not sure which of these to read first. If you know, let me know in the comments. That would be great, because then I can finally get these read, because I loved Power Rangers as a kid, and I honestly did not even know that they had Power Rangers comics. That blew my mind, because I mean, I probably should have figured, but decided to get into those. Let's move this pile out of the way before the pile of stuff I haven't read overtakes the camera. This one I picked up with my single issues a few weeks ago, and it's Are You Afraid of the Dark Side? I mostly picked this up because I'm sure I'm not the only one that noticed this, but you remember the old school Nickelodeon show Are You Afraid of the Dark, where they would sit around the campfire and tell scary stories? Like, that's exactly what this is, I feel. Like, Are You Afraid of Darkseid? Like, come on. So I had to pick this up off of purely, like, it made me nostalgic a little bit, but I haven't read it yet, but I'm excited to. Next, another series Mad Dog swears by. You seeing the theme? Preacher. Have not even opened this out of the bag yet. Picked it up. It was pretty cheap at the comic book store. I think I got it for like $12 or something like that. What's it go for? $20, so a little bit off. But I'm really excited to get into this a lot too, because I don't think it has any. Like I said, I know nothing about Preacher, except for that this guy right here looks a little menacing. So I'm pretty sure it's not superheroes or anything, but I'm really excited to get into the story. It looks crazy. I know they made a TV show about it a while back. I hear that is not a good show, like, to say the least. I think Seth Rogen had something to do with it. I'm not exactly sure, but I hear it's not the greatest show. But I am excited to read the comic. Another one, or the next one, I should say. I actually bought this at the same time that I bought Batman Hush, because I got a few recommendations from people, and this I was told that you didn't really have to know anything going into this to understand what's going on. But after I even asked the guy at the comic book store, he said basically you don't really need to have read anything else to read this. But after buying it and getting ready to read it, I talked to a few other people, and they were like, yeah, you don't really have to read anything before that, but if you want to get the full scope of the story, you should read other things before this one. And this one is Green Lantern Blackest Night Saga. Yeah, I got it, like I said, because I got it off recommendation. Plus, it just looks really dope. I'm excited to read this once I get a few other things read that lead up to this. But yeah, moving on. Then I got this probably like a few weeks after I started buying comics. And that is The Death of Spider-Man Prelude. I got this basically because it said Death of Spider-Man on it. I wanted to know what happens. And then come to find out, this is like, I'm pretty sure this is in Ultimate Spider-Man. Not exactly, yeah, because it's by Brian Michael Bendis. Yeah, and he's Ultimate Spider-Man, right? I think so. But like I said, I don't want to start at the end, man. I think this is like towards the end of that run. So like I want to start reading from the beginning. So probably start reading that on Marvel Unlimited. Then when I get to this portion, read this version of it, because I prefer being able to hold the book, flip the pages, and have it in person to the digital experience. I mean, digital is great, especially because like you can do it without having to have a light on. Like I like to read in bed sometimes, and that's a big plus. So yeah, looking forward to reading that. Just got a few left before we get to the big guys. Next up is Black Panther, Man Without Fear. I saw this in the store and it really intrigued me because I like Black Panther as a character. I loved him in the movies. Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. He was one of my favorite actors, like not just in the MCU, but like in everything. 42, Get On Up, The Five Bloods. Love all those movies. But I picked this up because I saw The Man Without Fear, and I had always known that to be Daredevil. So I was wondering like what the hell's going on there. I read like a few of the first pages before I kind of got sidetracked by something else. And so basically Black Panther, or T'Challa, takes Daredevil's place because something happens. I'm not really too sure why Daredevil leaves. But I'm looking forward to figuring out why. Getting some reading in on the Daredevil side of things, seeing why he has to go away. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into this. I actually picked this one up just last week, I think. And that is The Long Halloween Special Edition, I believe it is. See, like this, I was gonna read this, but then I believe I heard something about like this is a continuation or like a reiteration of The Long Halloween that came out a long time ago. And that's one of the things I really want to read. So I didn't want to read this before I read that. So we'll get to this eventually. This one, this is actually one of the first, probably actually the first trade paperback I ever bought. I bought this, I think I want to say like 3 years ago on Free Comic Book Day. I was with a couple of buddies that are really into comics. And I just kind of tagged along to go with them on Free Comic Book Day, because I was like, oh, free comic books, I'll take free anything. But that is The Death of Captain America by Ed Brubaker. And when I saw Complete Collection back then, I thought that meant this is the whole story, like this is everything. Turns out that's not how it is. This is, I believe, the second trade paperback of this series. I'm pretty sure that's what somebody told me. So, like I said, stickler for continuity. Can't start in the middle. Gotta start at the beginning. So I'll probably start reading that on Marvel Unlimited too, unless I could find the omnibus in person or find a good deal for it online. All right, we're on to the home stretch. The first two of these I have started, but haven't finished. That's why they're not in the finished pile. First is Invincible Compendium 1. I haven't watched the TV show because I wanted to read it first, and boy, I will tell you, like, I'm about 3/4 of the way done, I'd say, or 2/3. I'd say 2/3 done, and it's been great. I love this series. Like, it might be my favorite thing that I have been reading so far. Like, it's pretty great. I like it's more gory, I think, than like your average superhero book. Like, I'm really digging it. I dig the whole Omni-Man, how he came here to basically like live amongst humans until it's time to pop off and take over. And then Mark is just like, nah, I'm not about that. Like, we've been living here my whole life. We gotta protect these people. But I don't want to give nothing away other than that. Shit, actually, that is kind of a spoiler. So, spoiler alert after the fact. Sorry. But if you're watching this video, you've probably already read this. But yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing this, picking up the next compendium, and keeping the story going, man. So yeah. And then the next 4 are all part of the main series. And I actually have a little kind of an interesting story to tell with these. That is the 4 Walking Dead compendiums. There's number 1. As you can see, I started this, but have not completed it because I started reading Invincible. Plus, I started rewatching the show, so I was just like, that's kind of Walking Dead overload. So I'll probably finish watching the show and then go back through and read the compendiums to see how they stack up. This one I found at Second Charles, which is a book, media, gaming store we have here in my area. And it was pretty beat up, man. Like, you can see, like, it's torn right there. It's like got a bunch of creases in it. So they were selling this for $8. $8 for this. So I was like, yeah, I got to pick that up. Because it's not like I'm trying to sell them. I just want to read them. So I picked that up. $8. Well spent. Then the next 2, Compendium 2 and Compendium 3. I picked up at one of my local comic book stores because I saw them there. They were having a sale where everything paperback was half off, so I was able to pick 2 up for the price of 1. Gotta love it. And the last one, Compendium 4, I actually found yesterday at Comic-Con. Which I thought was a great find. It was the only one that the guy had, and he was like one of the few people left selling comic books on Sunday. Like I said, everything was really picked over yesterday, but I was super glad I found that. He was also having a sale, half off. Picked it up for $30. I'm looking forward to binge reading through the Walking Dead series right there. And that's where we're at as far as collected editions. I'll make a separate video for single issues and maybe another separate video of my collection that I had before I started this journey a couple months ago. But yeah, if you're interested in coming along for the ride, man, like I said, I'm a comic book novice. I'm really interested in getting into this hobby and just learning a lot more, reading a lot more. And if you want to go on that journey with me, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and drop some recommendations in the comments, man, because I'm always looking for new things to read. I got a lot of stuff to read right now, but if you drop me a recommendation, I will get to it. I promise. But like I said, Comic Book Novice, Contra Lad, I'm out of here.